All right, I'm getting the thumbs up, so I think that means we're good to go. So we're live streaming as well as here in the Student Union Theater. Thank you everyone so much for being here. Really excited to offer to you our NPHC informational for fall 2023. To get things started, my name is Jordan Webb. I use he, him, his pronouns. I currently serve as the Interim Associate Director for Student Involvement with oversight of our 350 plus recognized student organizations on campus, as well as our 30 plus chapters of fraternity sorority life. That's a little bit about myself. At this moment, I'm going to introduce or ask my colleague Anna here to quickly introduce herself.
Thanks, Jordan. Hi, everyone. My name is Ana Carrillo. I currently serve as the Interim Student Engagement Coordinator for Student Involvement. Essentially, what that means is I'm going to be advising National Pan-Hellenic Council as well as United Fraternity and Sorority Council this semester. If I haven't introduced myself to you yet in person, please come say hi to me. I'm so excited to work with y'all and excited for a great semester. Thank you.
Thanks, Anna. We also have with us Dr. Patience Bryant. So I have your info up here on Dr. Bryant. She'll be chatting with us later in our Q&A portion. But without further ado, let's move on with our slides. And I have a quick land acknowledgement for all of us, so I'll go ahead and read this. While we gather at San Jose State University, we are gathered on the ethno-historic tribal territory of the Tamian Ohlone, who are the direct ancestors of the lineages enrolled in the Muwekma Ohlone tribe, and who were missionized into missions Santa Clara, San Jose, and Dolores. The lands on which San Jose State University is established was and continues to be of significance to the Muwekma Ohlone tribe. We also recognize that the ancestors of the Muwekma Ohlone constructed and maintained 3 Bay Area missions. Our campus extends to surrounding areas that held a tupantac, a traditional roundhouse which were once located at the historic Lope Inigo land grant Rancho Poslome y Positas de las Animas, translated as Little Well of Souls, and also Marcelo Pio and Cristobal's land grant Rancho Ulistac, which were places of celebration and religious ceremonies, as well as nearby ancestral heritage shell mounds that served as the tribe's traditional cemetery sites and territorial monuments. San Jose State University also desires to honor the military service of the Muwekma who have honorably served overseas during World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Desert Storm, Iraq, and who are still serving in the United States Armed Forces today. Thank you for joining me in honoring our land acknowledgement. And I've got our agenda on the screen up here today. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through, hopefully as quickly as possible, some general information about our NPHC so that we can get to the main portion of our program, which is hearing from our wonderful chapters and the representatives that they have up here this morning. Eventually, we will get to a Q&A where we learn a little bit more about these chapters, what it's like to join fraternity sorority life at San Jose State, and with NPHC specifically. At the end, hopefully we end with enough time where we can just open it up to an open Q&A, and also time for folks in the audience to just mingle with our presenters, as well as anyone else that's currently affiliated with the NPHC community. So without further ado, I will ask our presenters that are here with us to just briefly introduce themselves and the chapters that they belong to, and then we'll dive into a little bit more specifics. So we can kind of just go down the line here. Hopefully, are those on? I got you.
Hello, hello. How y'all doing? My name is Alex Donald, Fall 15 Initiate of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, Epsilon Mu chapter here at San Jose State University.
Hello, everyone. My name is Nia Hales. I'm representing Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. I'm a Spring 22 Initiate and by way of the Zeta Psi chapter.
I got it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. How's it going, everybody? My name is Stefan Daniels, Spring 16, by way of Bloody Xi Gamma here at San Jose State, and current boss list of the Xi Nu chapter.
Hi, everyone. My name is Anaya. I'm a Spring 22 initiate, and I currently serve as president to the Eta Omega chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Dante Duffel. Came through my fraternity in spring 2016. The Mighty Mu Lambda chapter here at San Jose State. Currently serve as community liaison for the Theta Lambda Sigma graduate chapter.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rhonda Jacobs. I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I'm afraid to say my year because I'm like before y'all was even born, but I'm going to say it anyways, proudly. I'm a Spring 88 initiate of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, of Xi Zeta chapter, but of UCLA campus.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cottrell Hill. I'm a brother of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, across here in Fall 10 of the Delta Chi chapter of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity.
Thank you so much, everyone. And each chapter will have a brief moment later to say more about their organization and plans for the upcoming semester. I'll also acknowledge that one of our chapters is currently not here, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Maybe they join us later in the night. We'll see how it goes. So a little bit more about the National Pan-Hellenic Council. Ultimately, the NPHC is an umbrella organization for 9 historically African American and Black fraternity and sororities that were formed, decades and decades ago in response to what was seen on college campuses as, frankly, very white spaces of being fraternity and sorority life. And so a lot of these organizations stemmed from, finding community and finding our own places, to establish space and community for African American Black students. You'll frequently hear these chapters known as the Divine Nine collectively, or the D9. Thankfully, we do have 8 of the Divine 9 chapters here at San Jose State University. I'll speak a little bit more on that once we do an overview of each chapter. And just a little tidbit there of each NPHC organization, has various mission, values, and identity that they align themselves with, and hopefully we can hear a little bit more about that later in the open Q&A portion about specifically, what makes each organization unique, and that can, boil down to specifically how they make folks in their community aware of various issues, the educational practices and beliefs that they try and educate folks on, and just various areas of community service, which are really important, to keep our communities intact and self-sustaining. I have here just some brief demographics about, not for this fall, unfortunately, but for the fall 2022 semester. And it really breaks down, and you can kind of see our NPHC community as a historically African-American Black community, how that shakes out at San Jose State specifically. So if my pointer here tracks, you're able to see, here our Black population at San Jose State, which was hovering around 1,000 students, undergrad students for the last year. It would be interesting to see if that has, I don't think it's significantly declined or increased. But that's just to give you a sense of, how small but mighty our community can be, and just how many students we're kind of catering to as part of NPHC. So where NPHC kind of fits into the greater landscape of San Jose State. A little bit more about, I mentioned earlier, we have 350 plus clubs, which are also known as recognized student organizations at San Jose State, and a little bit more about what exactly that means. The recognized status is a status that is deemed by the California State University system. Essentially, each campus has particular guidelines and rules for organizations to report information about themselves and do training, so that basically we can certify you as folks that are able to market yourselves and bring positive change to our communities. You can see some of those requirements here. So our student organizations are required to have a minimum of 5 members. For our fraternity sorority life communities, we ask that the president and treasurer of each organization has a 2.6 GPA overall, as well as over a 2.0 term GPA. So, just giving a little info there that we always strive for academics to be important and make sure our students are on top of why they're here, which is, to graduate, extracurriculars being great and all. And also a constitution, so all of these organizations have a set of bylaws or rules by which they do everything from intake members to host events. And that's unique to each chapter and each club at San Jose State. I will share that based on just the number of current active undergraduate students per chapter, some of our current NPHC chapters here at San Jose State are recognized and some of them are not. Regardless of that status, we still commit to, as a department, of supporting folks that may be underneath those membership numbers by supporting through hosting various recruitment events and securing space on campus. It's a partnership that I've really valued in my very short time in this role supporting NPHC thus far, and we continue to support moving forward. So getting those membership numbers up to that 5 members status that gives you that recognized status and opens up just a lot of different possibilities for clubs and organizations is really the top priority from kind of where I sit as far as student involvement is concerned. I did include on here as well, to my knowledge, the organizations that are doing intake this semester. If this is incorrect, please correct me when you all speak a little bit more on your organizations. But this was the info that I had at the time. I did mention also that we have currently 8 of the Divine 9 chapters chartered here at San Jose State. That one chapter not chartered on campus being Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. So just a little piece of info there for you in case you're a legacy or someone that may be in an NPHC chapter on another campus. Just a little bit of context there for you. So at this point, I will kind of pass it over to our chapters to share a little bit more about their organizations and any plans they might have for the fall semester. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Alpha Phi Alpha.
Appreciate y'all. Once again, Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was founded on Ice Cold Tuesday, December 4th, 1906, by 7 great men, 7 jewels, at Cornell University, Ithaca, New York. Our mission, Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated, develops leaders, promotes brotherhood and academic excellence while providing service and advocacy for our communities. Our motto is, first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. And our aims is manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. Colors are black and old gold. Epsilon Mu was chartered here at San Jose State University on March 6, 1962, also on an ice cold Tuesday by 10 great men. And if you would like more information about Epsilon Mu, want to talk to me about possible intake this upcoming season or anything like that, definitely you can talk to me or also contact Brother Daryl Tate about that as well. But thank you.
Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Nia Hales, Spring 22 Initiate of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. A little bit about us. We are the first sorority established for Black college-educated women. Our mission is to cultivate and encourage high scholastic and ethical standards, to promote unity and friendship among college women, to study and help alleviate problems concerning girls and women in order to improve their social stature, to maintain a progressive interest in college life, and to be a service of all mankind. We were founded January 15, 1908 at Howard University in Washington, D.C., and later incorporated January 29, 1913, which means we were licensed to broaden our service concepts and establish more chapters. In terms of membership, there are nearly 300,000 members worldwide and 1,000 collegiate and alumni chapters. Our motto is by culture and by merit, which means we respect all cultures, and we are committed to positively impacting our society. Our colors are apple green and salmon pink. At SJSU, there was the Delta Nu chapter, which was dissolved, and now we are the lovely ladies of Zeta Psi chapter, chartered February 26, 1972. Some of our programs that we have, we hit 6 program targets, which are strengthen our sisterhood, empower our families, building our economic wealth, enhance our environment, advocate for social justice, and uplift our local community. If you like some of what you heard, our main point of contact is Mia Taylor. You can reach her at mia.taylor@SJSU, or you can follow our Instagram at SJSU AKAs, and our current rush date is September 29th. If you have more questions, you can talk to me directly, and I can email you some of our rush information.
Sorry for my absence. I mean, my tardies being here. But I'm going to talk a little bit about Kappa Alpha Psi. So I'm going to start off by saying my name is Jamar Walker. And really, I just want to tell you guys a quick bit about the history. And the founders, I mean, it was founded January 5th, 1911 in Indiana University, Bloomington, Indiana, with our motto being achievement in every field of human endeavor. So kind of stick with that. We have over 125,000 members worldwide, and that's over 700 alumni and undergraduate and alumni. Now, the Delta Rho chapter was chartered in June 16, 1956, here at San Jose State. And our colors is crimson and cream. And our flower is the carnation flower. It's not up there, but just throw that in there too. And some of our program that we have that we put on is Shop with a Kappa and Safe Halloween, which Safe Halloween is coming up actually pretty soon, if you guys know it. So hopefully we see some people there. And so for our main point of contact, it will be Milan Valentin. But I will say, just make sure you actually email us on the deltarolnoops@gmail.com, or even utilize our Instagram at deltarolnoops.
How's it going, everybody? I'm going to just give you guys some history and some quick facts about Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. So Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated was founded dark and stormy Friday evening, November 17th, 1911, on the campus at Howard University in the Science Building, which is now called Thurkill Hall, by 3 undergraduate students and their faculty advisor. Our motto is "Friendship is essential to the soul." Our colors are royal purple and old gold. The Xi Gamma chapter was chartered here at San Jose State January 20th, 1962. And it was the first undergraduate chapter chartered in Northern California. Some notable Omega men was Brother Tim Knowles, who crossed in 1964. He is the EOP founder here at San Jose State. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it or not. But he was the first director at San Jose State. And then also Dr. Stephen Milner. He was a past African-American humanities professor, also the oldest black male student at San Jose State. Some of our staple programs are Achievement Week, voter registration, fatherhood, and mentoring. Go to the next slide. The main point of contact is myself. Again, I'm the graduate chapter bossless, or the president. You can reach out to our email address at zinewqs@gmail.com. And we also have 2 Instagram accounts, SJSU Qs and Silicon Valley Qs.
Once again, my name is Anaya, Spring 22 Initiate, and I am a part of the Eta Omega chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. So just some brief history and quick facts. We were founded in 1913 by 22 collegiate women on the campus of Howard University. Right now, we have more than 300,000 members worldwide with 1,000 collegiate and alumni chapters. Our motto is "Intelligence is the torch of wisdom." Our colors, crimson and cream. And the Eta Omega chapter was chartered in December 19th, 1970. Our mission is Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated is a private, not-for-profit organization of college-educated women committed to the constructive development of its members and to public service with a primary focus on the Black community. A few of our staple programs include May Week, voters registration, and our bachelor's auction. Next slide. So I would be the main point of contact. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. You can also follow our Instagram listed below. We will have some more information about our rush coming in the next coming dates if you are interested in that. But that's all.
What's going on, everybody? As I mentioned earlier, my name is Dante Duffel, brother of the Phi Beta Sigma chapter, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, Mighty Mu Lambda chapter, and Theta Lambda Sigma chapter. So some quick information again on about us. We were founded January 9th, 1914 on the campus of Howard University, Washington, D.C. by three most honorable brothers, A. Langston Tanner, Leonard F. Morse, and Charles I. Brown. Our colors are royal blue and pure white. Our motto is culture for service and service for humanity. The Mighty Mu Lambda chapter here at San Jose State was chartered on May 31st, 1980. Our mission is the Brothers of Phi Beta Sigma are the fraternity's most valuable resource and strength. They are the primary means by which the Phi Beta Sigma objectives will be achieved. In order to accomplish the fraternity's objectives, it is essential that systems are instituted that effectively embody culture for service and service for humanity and promote brotherhood, scholarship, and service. Some programs that we've had here passed on the campus over here is Dress for Success, which is in collaboration with Men's Warehouse, in which we detail men and women about dress etiquette. We also have an educational event called Sex and Dark, in which we promote safe sex, as well as we provide safe space for which people could communicate in a confessional and anonymous matter. We also promote March of Dimes, and we also used to host our brother-to-brother dinner, which was for Black men in terms to discuss Black issues here on campus. Next slide, please. For our main point of contact is Isaac Terry and Issue of Credit, Isaac Terry being our graduate chapter president, and Issue of Credit being our membership intake chair. We've also provided their emails as well in case you need to reach out to them. Don't use their phone numbers. And in terms for informational dates, we're going to be providing some more information coming up on that. If you have any other information that you'd like to know, we also post on SJSU_Sigmas. We don't have the information posted, but that's information that we'll give out. If you have any other questions, be available later after the event. Thank you.
Hi, once again, my name is Rhonda Jacobs. I'm a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I'm a member of Xi Zeta Zeta chapter, which is the graduate chapter. The undergraduate chapter here is Psi Mu. Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated was founded January 16th, 1920 on the campus of Howard University in Washington, D.C. by five beautiful, phenomenal women that we call our pearls. Arizona Leodonia Cleaver Stimmons, Pearl Anna Neal, Viola Tyler Goings, Myrtle Tyler Faithful, and Fannie Petty Watts. Our colors are royal blue and white. Our principles, scholarship, service, sisterhood, and finer womanhood. Our motto, community conscious, action-oriented organization. We are the first and only Black Greek letter organization to be constitutionally bound to our brother fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated, which is why we wear the same colors of royal blue and pure white. Psi Mu chapter was chartered on April 24th, 1984, and some of the national programs that we are currently working on is our Elder Care Initiative, Z-HOPE, which stands for Zetas Helping Other People to Excel, and basically that's doing community service projects for various audiences focusing on men, women, international women, our senior community, as well as our youth. We also do prematurity awareness. We adopt a school, Stork's Nest, and March for Babies. Some upcoming events that we will be having, we'll be participating in upcoming walks, such as making strides against breast cancer. We will tomorrow on Zoom be having an event called Mastering Your Minutes, Time Management Tips for Undergrads. So if you want more information, I have it here for you, as well as we have a brochure that will tell you more information about the Psi Mu chapter. And that's it. Thank you. I'm sorry. I guess if you want to get in contact with me, that would be important. So I'm the undergraduate advisor. You can contact me at the email thirdvicepresident@californiasouthbayzetas.org, or you can follow us on Instagram at SJSU Zetas. Any other information, there's QR codes down there that you can go ahead and get more information. Thank you.
And like I mentioned, Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated is the only chapter of the Divine Nine currently not chartered here at San Jose State University. You can view their information here as far as their history of where they were founded, and some of those historic characteristics, community service opportunities, and things of that nature. But in the interest of time, I'm going to pass it over to our final chapter.
Okay, hello everybody. Once again, my name is Cottrell Hill, brother of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. I'm going to give you a few informational quick facts about Iota. We were founded September 19, 1963 at Morgan State College, now known as Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland. Our mascot is a centaur. If you don't know what that is, it's simply half man, half horse. You guys can look that up, but it's a wild, rapacious, mythical beast with the strength and stamina of a stallion and the intelligence of a man. Colors are charcoal brown, and gilded gold. We hold our 5 stars as the most important pillars of our organization, which is scholarship. Like we said earlier, everyone's here for school, so that's the main focus, the first focus. Leadership, brotherhood, fidelity, and citizenship. Motto is building a tradition, not resting upon one. Delta Chi chapter was chartered here June 9th, 2001 by 2 men who had to charter it from Cal Berkeley, but they made themselves known, and we are still here. Staple programs, Iota Shadow Day, which is a time frame in which we host youth of the high school to middle school range, and we take them around with us, hopefully barring any professors allow it, into the classroom so they can have a college day for a day to understand what it's like to be in part of the college campus. We've had a lot of people show up to those and actually attend San Jose State based on that, and also actually joined our fraternity based on that whole process. And Wild 'N Out, that's more of a social program. I'm sure you guys all watch Wild 'N Out on television. We definitely had some days where actually a lot of the fraternities and sororities up here helped participate in, and we pretty much just hosted Wild 'N Out for everybody on the campus to have a nice time, had some jokes, laughs, and brought food, of course. And our last one is much more than a hashtag. This was obviously placed in place during the pandemic after the tragedies that have occurred with George Floyd and other ones. We want to make sure that everyone realizes that African Americans are more than a hashtag. We want to make sure that their memory lives on. Service and philanthropy, St. Jude Children's Hospital. We believe that the next generation is going to take care of us one day and hopefully perpetuate and move forward. As kind of goes off of our motto, is building a tradition, not resting upon one. We want to pull people up on the way out. Main point of contact is myself, the Delta Chi chapter, Fall 10, Xi Omega grad chapter member, which is a part of the Greater Bay Area. My email is right there. As you can see, it's an SJSU email because I do work here in the athletic department, so I'm just down the street, and I'll be on campus quite often. In informational dates, I actually put some on there, but I guess it's not the updated slide. But we have one on the 18th, September 18th at 5 o'clock in the Student Union, one October 11th, and then another one October 30th. Same time, Student Union, room 5. Thank you.
Thanks, Cottrell. And if anyone has any updates that's up on the stage here, we'll send those out to everyone after the session today. So sorry about that. And thank you so much to everyone that's shared thus far. And hopefully we have some folks in the audience and on the live stream that are a little bit more excited now, right, about our chapters and their unique history, cultures, and traditions, and want to learn a little bit more about how to join them, right? So here's some of the info that is pretty important for you to know here. The first part of that being the eligibility. So a couple of things as far as eligibility goes. Overall, in order to join our fraternity sorority life community, regardless of chapter, you do need to be an undergraduate student enrolled in at least 6 units. And this is actually outdated because we have recently updated our SJSU overall GPA requirement to be a 2.5 instead of a 2.6. To be a little bit more inclusive to the community overall across all of our chapters. So you can correct that on me, on here on my behalf. It is a 2.5 instead of a 2.6. If you reach out to me, that's something I will reaffirm for you. We also do honor any GPA requirements or essentially any other requirements that an individual chapter may have. So if there is a chapter up here that has a 2.8, 2.9, whatever that might be, we will ultimately uphold whatever those standards are for an organization. There is also a bit.ly link there to complete our interest and eligibility form. Essentially what that does is give us your student ID number, email address, things like that, and we're able to kind of process your information and make sure that, yes, you are eligible. And a little bit as well on the GPA requirement, that does not apply to first-time frosh or first-time transfer students. So no need to think about your high school GPA or your community college GPA or whatever that may be. It's your first semester here at San Jose State, that doesn't apply. A little bit more about the money part, right? That's something everyone is always curious about. There's some of the dues information here. Typically there is like a new member due fee, whatever you want to call it, or some sort of initiation fee. There are usually annual dues, and again, those are determined by individual organizations themselves. It can really range per organization. If you're thinking about joining any type of fraternity or sorority, I always encourage you, that would be one of my first questions. So it should be one of your first questions, and it should be something that's fairly easy to be answered. Student involvement as a department on campus does not collect any dues. That should all go through your organizations and whoever you're chatting with as far as joining. So I have no motives by being up here and sharing with you this information about dues and how that all works. And you can see some of the steps in the process here on the right side of the screen. Just to kind of spell it out, if you're new to fraternity sorority life, and just how do I do it? How do I become a part of this community? We've outlined some of the steps here. Number one, attend events just like this one, right? Where you learn more about the community and upcoming opportunities. And maybe from here you follow up with an individual chapter that sounds interesting and fulfilling to you. And you can attend some more of their individual events. Like I mentioned, you should fill out that interest and eligibility form so that we can confirm, like, yep, you're good to go. Continue going to these events and continue in the intake or new member process. You will ultimately complete some sort of application, and organizations do have like interviews and things like that. Just make sure you're joining for the right reasons, and that you're joining a like-minded community. We do have new member education processes both through the organization and San Jose State. We do have what's called new member education sessions. I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? Where we go into a little bit more detail about the do's and don'ts of joining fraternity and sorority life, some potentially problematic behaviors to be on the lookout for, and how you can be diligent in reporting things that don't feel quite right. Which hopefully won't be an issue, but that's the kind of information that we provide. So you complete all of those requirements, and then eventually, hopefully you're initiated into an organization. Pretty straightforward. And if you have any questions after this, I have my business card here. I'm sure any of the lovely folks up here have information that they can share as well. And with that, I'm going to stop talking and step down here, and I'm going to welcome Dr. Patience Bryant, who can hopefully introduce herself and lead us in a panel Q&A.
All right, thank you. Hi, I'm Dr. Patience Bryant. I use she, they pronouns. I work here in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion in a dual role. I am the Interim Deputy Diversity Officer as well as the Director for Black and African American Equity. I'm a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Joins during 2005, Sigma Iota chapter at Florida Atlantic University, currently member of Rho Delta Omega graduate chapter. And so we have a few questions for you all. Feel free to pass it on and share, and let's get to it. And so, well, you're in a picture, so I'm gonna go straight to you. Why did you decide to join your organization, and how did you choose?
For me, the reason why I decided to join is because, first off, I was coming here and I wanted to find a way that I think could kind of give me an identity. So I felt that trying to join an organization was one of them, but also to just having people in my family as well that is a part of it kind of gave me an idea of what I know I'm getting myself into. And then how did I choose my organization? Well, actually, I already knew about him, but as well as that, I actually had one of the previous ones reach out to me. So I kind of went down and kind of went to go see how was the event that was put on. Basically, it was like a Juneteenth. So actually just bonding with them and actually seeing them for who they were, I was like, oh, this is actually nice. And from there, just it happened.
Anyone else?
So I was lucky enough to be surrounded by people in NPHC organizations all my life. My grandfather's actually a Q. My mom's best friend's a Delta. My cousin's an Alpha, and he was the one that introduced me to Alpha. And he helped me choose my organization by seeing the transformation of him, how he grew his character, and how he just how he stood, how he presented himself as an Alpha. And then I came here, and I met a lot of the brothers here at Epsilon Mu, and they carried that same energy that my cousin carried, and that was really important to me. And then I identified with all the brothers here, so it's kind of an easy decision.
Anyone at the end?
I guess I'll go. For myself, I joined in spring 2016. I was a first year at the time. And I remember during this time we were new to the campus, didn't know many people, but at the time we were having a protest on campus. And I didn't know anybody, but I came over there to support the cause. But I remember individual approached me, Brian Amsden, who later ended up being dean or membership intake chair that would bring me into the fraternity, was one of the first people that approached me on campus out of the upperclassmen. Got to know me, let me know about events, and got to know more of the brothers in the organization. And one thing that I really supported in even that interaction, meeting Brian, was the social consciousness of the brothers and how involved they were in the community. And so once in terms of choosing the organization, I kind of made sure to take a little bit of time to see all the other organizations, attend events, but really brothers that I was able to connect with and really supported their cause were the brothers of Phi Beta Sigma. And from there, got to know them, and once I attended their first membership meeting and got to meet some of the older brothers and what they do in the community, what they do around here in Santa Clara County, it felt like me and a lot of local celebrities, people that are in the ground working and getting work done. And from there, I just want to be a part of that.
We'll go to the next question. And so we're talking about interests. We have all these stereotypes of things that you shouldn't do, and that rumors and things that folks that may have heard before come to campus. But what do you think are the proper ways to express interest in the NPHC organization? And is it okay to express interest in more than one organization?
I'll answer that. I think the best way to express interest in one of these orgs is to attend events. You could say you want to be this, you want to be that, but it's really the action behind that that'll really intrigue us. I personally think that you'll get more acclimated and you'll get to know more of the girls or the men in that organization and really see if you align with the morals that they have, the values, and the events that they throw. And in terms of expressing in more than one, to each their own, I would say. But yeah, I would just attend events and see.
I think that's an important thing that you shared. Attend events and see where you fit in. One thing I like to tell undergrads a lot, especially, is that we have 9 organizations, but each chapter on every campus is different. So in the way you're joining the chapter, not so much the national organization, if that makes sense. And so you may have gotten one word from somebody at Berkeley about yellow shirt organization, but when they come here, the yellow shirts are very different. And so something to keep in mind. Anyone else?
I can just say I agree what she's saying. I always tell everybody that you should check all of us out because I agree with you. It's who you align with. It's who you get along with. because I think all the organizations, we all have our same causes. We're all into scholarship. We're all into community service and helping out our own communities and things like that. But then it's just who are you working side by side with, and who do you work with? And all the way you're going to find out is if you participate in events with all of them, then you'll find out who you're able to mesh with. So that's what I would say to express interest. Make sure you check them all out because it is true. One chapter here, it could be different than the other chapter that's clear across the country. So you just never know unless you participate with one another.
Next question. It's a little bit about process. So as much as you can share, what is the process like to join? How do you believe NPHC is different from other fraternities and sororities? And I guess they mean non-NPHC organizations. And what are some common misconceptions about being an NPHC member? You can answer all three. You can answer one. It's totally up to you.
I can answer the first two. So typically what a process would look like is the first step is the informational. So you guys are all here. That would be the first step. Then it's typically the rush where you find out more about the organization, how to go about applications, fees, dues, all of that good stuff. After the rush would be the application process, so filling out the paperwork, attending the interview if there is one, and then from there, either you pass your interview or you don't. And then it would just depend on the specific organization that you're in. But the first step is the informational. How is NPHC different from other fraternities? NPHC organizations are lifelong. It's a lifelong commitment. So you can't just expect to just do the collegiate thing and then just to breeze on by through this. It's a lifelong. You're constantly active in the community. Yeah, it's lifelong.
Yeah, I can second to that. Process is pretty similar, informational, and then you go through kind of like a membership selection process where it does include interviews, meeting with the chapters, filling out forms and paperwork, and making sure that everything is in alignment and that you are actually, you fit the criteria in terms of our membership selection process. And again, NPHC is a lifelong thing. As you can see, everyone up here is either recently graduated or has graduated for a long time ago. But we're still up here. I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about myself. But as you can see, we're still up here representing our organization. Still out in the community, still offering that service within the community. Some misconceptions I would say about NPHC, I guess on some other campuses here as well, is that NPHC is all about like strolling, partying, and stuff like that. But what they don't see behind the all that is the actual work that we do within the community. Every opportunity there is for our organization to participate within the community, you'll most likely see us out there wearing our letters and stuff like that, making sure that our face is seen and that we're within the community. So just mainly the work that's behind the fraternity and sorority.
Not going to bore you guys with more of that portion, of course. You guys have heard it, but that is very true. I agree with everybody on this panel right now with that, with the process and the different, the difference in our fraternities and sororities. I'll touch on a misconception, though. I know you all see us up here with all of our different colors and all of our different things, and of course you saw the differences yet similarities that we all have as organizations, but every single person up here I consider family in a sense. So the misconception is you join your organization and you're pigeonholed into that organization. I can say for myself, along with some of the brothers and sisters up here, that a lot of us were friends or friends of friends before we joined our organization. So I think that's one misconception, is that after you join, you have to stay within your friend group or your organizational group. We all hang out together. We've all hung out together, done things together, go to each other's events. So it doesn't keep you away from anybody else. So if you're thinking about joining one organization, but I like friends here, well, you can have them. They're still your friends. So that's one misconception I wanted to point out.
All good. I wanted to add one more thing. I want to address the same question about how NPHC is different from other fraternities and sororities. I know we've talked a lot about lifelong commitments, but I think also I want to address terms of the legacy and why we are into this lifelong commitment. If you think about when a lot of these organizations were formed, where they were formed, HBCUs, PWIs, what was going on at time during these campuses, what we had for ourselves as Black people. It is truly rare for Black collegiates to have Greek organizations that are historically and predominantly Black, African American. So for us, be able to come to university, form these organizations, and carry it on. That's part of the reason that we carry on this lifelong legacy and commitment to the community. Us coming into education institutions to give back to the larger community as much as possible.
Thank you for sharing that. Anytime someone asks me, "Oh, you were an AK?" I'm like, "No, I am. I am, very much so." They get that check every year.
Exactly. That's another misconception.
So performance is traditions. This first one is so funny because I don't.
Yeah,
that was not why I joined. So do I have to know how to dance, stroll? Some people say party walk, depending where you're from. To join, is there a reason why you step? What if I don't have rhythm? Do you have to know the Greek alphabet? Is it okay to do an organization's hand sign if you're not a member? What are they? That's once again share. We are live streaming, so remember that. And do you have houses? Why or why not?
All right. Do you have to know how to dance to join? No. We just touched upon it right now. That is not the primary reason why we're here. We're here for service, for brotherhood or sisterhood, and to continue a legacy that was started by our founding members. So you don't have to, it's definitely a big part of what we do, I will say. And, we enjoy doing it, but do you have to know how to do it or do it? No. Is there a reason why you step? Yes, there is definitely a reason. Now, if you do not have rhythm, that's okay. We can work on that. No, I'm actually pretty serious because I can say from experience that I know brothers that started off, they weren't comfortable, didn't have much rhythm with it, but as practice went along, they got better at it. So we'll work on that. But is it okay to do an organization's hand sign if you're not a member? No, it is not. Please do not do that. Do we have houses? As of recent, Epsilon Mu did have a house. We recently lost it in 2019, but we are hoping to get a house back sooner than later, so we'll see about that.
Just touch on that rhythmic part. There is some people that we need help too, even if we have a rhythmic issue. Not I. I was on the Bay Area Assassin Step team, so I was not. But we do still need people to push the sound button. So there's a larger roles that can be used and helps with a show or a step show or an organizational fun time out there. So please don't feel like you need rhythm. There are a lot of brothers and sisters that do not, and it's okay. Answering that question on the Greek alphabet, it would be helpful. If you knew the Greek alphabet, since you're joining a Greek letter organization, you walk around and you'll see the letters and people wear them, and then you can identify what fraternity they're in or chapter they're in. So that's always a help. Of course, do not show hand signs. I'm going to reiterate that again because people do it. Do not do someone else's hand signs or try to fit in by wearing their colors while we're at an organizational event. That does not go well.
As far as a reason as to why we step or stroll, it's more of like a unity thing. We're celebrating, we're proud of our organization as well as it shows unity. So that's why we step and stroll. Do not do an org's hand sign, especially if you are an interest. I would recommend you do not do that. As far as houses, Alpha Kappa Alpha doesn't have a house. Don't know why. We just don't have one. And as far as the Greek alphabet, it's not a requirement, but it would be nice to know so you can see and recognize other organizations. But it's not a requirement.
I will share. NPHC organizations traditionally don't have houses. It varies campus by campus, and across. So the fact that you had a house at one point in time is super rare, but it doesn't mean the community does not exist. You don't need a house to have a community. You don't need a house to do the work. Stepping, it goes back to our tradition. It's cultural. It's traditional. Back to our wonderful ancestors from the continent. That's where stepping comes from. And I will say there's a space for everybody in every organization. My line sisters will tell you I am the person who don't have it. My job is to throw up the mirror, if you know what that means, and I do it. Okay, there's a role for everybody. And so don't feel like if you can't get that two-step, it's not for you. They will help you. We help each other. That's what we do. And experience after college. We're here to get degrees, not just, join organizations. And so how has your organization helped you develop personally and professionally? And what are the expectations for membership after graduation?
I would say for me, how my organization has helped me has developed leadership skills. I think that's another misconception of joining our organizations is that we go to leadership conferences, we get up early in the morning to attend all-day meetings at our various national, regional, state. So as everyone's saying before, you do see the social side of us, but there's also a business side of us where we can go to different trainings and things like that that will develop you leadership. And so in Zeta, I've been in various positions in which I've been able to display my leadership skills from being, president of my undergraduate chapter to being president of my graduate chapter. I've been state director, which has been over all the Zeta chapters in the Northern California area. I've had a regional position. And so you can go up further and further up. And you network, you meet other people, and it just definitely develops your leadership skill as well as your being more personable around people. And what are the expectations for membership after graduation? Well, as you can tell, I've well graduated and I'm still in this game. So it never stops. So for me, when I joined a freshman at UCLA and I'm still in Zeta 30-something years later, there's always a place for you. There's always something for you to do to help out with your community. So the expectations after graduation is that you're still doing the work, that you're still grinding. Most people feel like after graduation that it's done, but it's not. When they say it's a lifelong commitment, that's exactly what they mean. It's a lifelong commitment. So before you make that decision, make sure you're in it for the long haul.
I also share about this as well. So some of the ways how it has helped me develop personality and professionally is one of the things. I was a peer mentor here while I was coming here, but also with that, I also had the opportunity to be a guest presentation speaker for someone who was actually performing for our school. So it puts you in situations that you probably wouldn't be in before, and then actually just allowing me to develop. What does that look like? That's allowing you to do trials and errors. You might mess up, you might do things, but it allows you to build upon yourself. And our motto is achievement. So, already I'm trying to achieve at the best already, but it allows you to do these things where then when you go into the real world, outside world, and this is for not just my organization, but everybody that's up here, that we're trying to make sure that you are better than how you came into state. So trying to make sure that it's ways to improve you, and it's for you to actually improve yourself on how these things is, but allow you the platform for what you need. And the expectations for members after graduation, like she said, she kind of touched on it. I graduated, I'm still here. So it's really a lifelong thing, and it's just the commitment and allowing to still do the work. There's other people out there in the world, so it's still kind of help.
So I would say Alpha has definitely helped me personally and professionally through networking. For one, I've been able to meet so many brothers in so many different fields, and to be able to poke their brain, get a little expertise about each field or anything like that has been such a help. But also just learning how to work with my fellow brothers and build as an organization, learning the Robert Rules of Order, learning how to properly run meetings, how to properly run events, things like that, that easily translate to a professional career in any field, whether it be politics, music, being a doctor, or anything like that. So it's definitely developed me personally, as in just not gonna lie, being a little bit more confident, more disciplined in what I do, and how I carry myself, and just using the experiences that my older brothers put down on me and just taught me, and then just letting that translating how I move. And the expectations for membership after graduation, like we've been all saying this entire time, this is a lifetime commitment. So whether it be joining your grad chapter after you're done graduating, whether it's once you're done graduating, being here to represent your chapter, whether it is going to an event and strolling or stepping just to represent your chapter, it's not really, I know sometimes a lot of the brothers or sisters here know people that be like, I retired, and there's no such thing as retiring as much as we want to, or any of that. But yeah, it's lifetime commitment.
I was also going to mention networking and personally attest in terms of, for myself joining, I was a first year, so I was a youngin, and I had a lot of growing up and learning to do, and so it helped me grow a lot in terms of leadership. One of the biggest things was joining my organization so early made me a better leader in other student orgs I was involved in, as well as pursue community organization roles outside of the school. Also, as been mentioned, was going to conferences. Like being said, first it's a lot of work. So usually how they go up is you have a great time, a lot of fun. You're gonna be meeting people from different states, possibly different countries across the U.S. And then the time you're gonna meet them, network. You're gonna meet up, have a great time. And you're gonna have to try to wake up by 8 to 7 a.m. Try to make it to the meeting before the sergeant at arms tells you late. But it's been a great experience, especially going to the conferences. That was one of the biggest things that I gained in terms of being a new member at the time I was. I remember frat brothers specifically sitting me down, teaching me about credit score, teaching me ideals about real estate in terms of how I should look at my finance later on, as well as leadership, public speaking. And in terms of expectations for membership after graduation, as you can see, a lot of us have either graduated or close to graduation. We're still very much involved, whether that's from a collegiate or graduate level, wanting to give back. Obviously, when you graduate, you might be a little bit busy. You have family. You have a lot of needs to attend to, but we still have time to meet up. I want to say in terms for most of the organizations, it's reasonable in terms of the commitment to provide. But yeah, the involvement is to stay active after you graduate.
And now we want to open up the Q&A to you all. If you are too shy to ask your question publicly, we want to encourage you to mingle with our panel and other folks who are representing organizations here in this space as well. But if you have any questions,
Good evening. My name is Pamela Lowe, and I'm a graduate of San Jose State University. I'm also an AKA, became an AKA on this campus. I graduated in December '87, and I became an AKA in 80.
Yeah, that's right.
80 something, second semester freshman, okay? So been an AKA for a long time. I'm 60, so I have been, participating with all the right, wonderful reasons. With that being said, I just wanted to address the question regarding why we don't have a house, AKA, and some of the other organizations, Pan-Hellenic. A lot of the other organizations who have houses, they embed that cost, right, of maintaining that house and making that mortgage into their fees in order for folks to become a member of their organization. So we don't do that. So traditionally, so that's one of the main reasons why traditionally you won't see the organizations in the Pan-Hellenic have houses, because we don't spread that cost or expect our members to take it on. Okay.
Thanks for that. And I would say, coming off of Pan-Hellenic recruitment this past weekend, they certainly do build in that cost. Any other questions? Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's no like direct number. It varies by organization. So we wouldn't be able to give you like a finite number until you're about to like join. So yeah, sorry about that.
Hi. So I wanted to know if it was possible to move up leadership-wise within your own sorority or fraternity, and if so, what would that look like?
Absolutely, you can move up at any point if you run for a position, you're appointed a position. You can definitely take on a leadership role if you feel like you want to, and as well as the members in your organization vote you as well. But there's always room to move up.
And yet, I'll answer a question, then I'll come back to you. Okay. To piggyback off of what you're saying, like I was a person of such as that. When I was in undergrad, I went through all the positions in my undergrad chapter, being, secretary, treasurer, and president. And then I wanted to go up to the next level, which for me was a state level. So then I became a state director. And so that's an appointed position. Some positions are appointed and elective. So again, they're looking at your resume of what you've done within the organization. For Zeta, we have a whole Zeta organizational leadership thing that we have to take before we are able to run in any kind of position. So that's another thing I was talking about, the leadership training that you have to go through in order for you to be in all the different positions. And then you just move on up from local, state, regional, into national. And those are usually like the steps that you go through in order to get there. And then your question in the back, you wanted to say?
Okay, now so we'll add real quickly. So for instance, for AKA, we do actually have undergraduate positions at the national level. So even beyond your undergraduate chapter, there's opportunity for you as an undergraduate student to get leadership experience directly from our national president.
Hello, hello. So good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Blodgett. I pledged here at San Jose State in 2001. We did have a house as well back then, but just due to lack of membership, that ended up getting lost. But one of the things I did want to speak about was the connectedness of the various organizations. I can tell you when I was on campus, there was an AKA named Kalita McElroy who worked in the financial aid department. And, most of us, when we came here, were on some type of financial aid. And, things got funny with the money, and had to talk to Kalita, and, she moved some things forward. And, now I'm here. I've graduated, business owner, and doing okay. So, just having the connectedness of the organizations and, not knowing where you're going to end up in life, but being able to reach out to your chapter or other organizations is something that's been super important.
Thanks. And Kalita's normally here. I don't know where she's at. Thank you for that. Any other questions from the audience? Go ahead.
Who wants to take that?
We actually have tabling tomorrow, so be there at 12:30 on 7th Street. Thank you. But we were there at Meet the Greeks. It's kind of sometimes it's a bit difficult with scheduling in classes to be out at every tabling, but yeah, we do have tabling tomorrow. So.
Well, I wanna also add that in terms of that's one thing everyone would like to have more activity be there on as well over there during the campus hours. But a lot of these organizations are relatively smaller than a lot of these non-NPHC organizations that have houses, larger groups. So it's harder in terms of having the time availability to be able to be there and tabling. So I do understand that that frustration, something that we would also like to be able to be there more as well. One thing I will say that depends compared to when I first came on campus, it just does depend sometimes on membership size as well as communication channels on who could be there at that time, especially when you have members that are graduate and looking to do a reactivation process.
Thanks for the question. Do you want the mic? Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Azaria. I'm a Spring 22 initiate of the Eta Omega chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I just wanted to add that although you don't see people on 7th Street all the time, a very important place for you to be in tune with is the block, and also pay attention to the Black Student Resource newsletter that goes out, because a lot of the information that you're looking for, because classes are so hectic, is mainstreamed there and streamlined directly to Black students in order to make sure that we are able to do outreach that allows for the cultivation of community and involvement.
And to actually piggyback off of that too, is to make sure to talk to others and invite others. You know what I mean? Don't come alone. Bring a group. You know, I see how you're sitting back here with 2 other people, but I mean, a lot of these other young brothers need to talk to each other. Come out and grow in big groups and talk and let everybody know there's something going on. Let's all go out. Even if they're not interested, just have them come out. You never know. You might spark some type of interest. You know what I mean? Because I am a former undergrad. I just graduated, but I had the exact same questions. You know, I don't see it enough. But then also, I want to be the change that I wish to see. So that's why you see me here tonight. Even though I just got out of class at 7, I'm here. But we got to make sure we push that. Get out here. Be here.
Great. Thank you to you both. Did we have one more question? Okay. I mean, it's okay if there's more. I just thought there was one.
I believe you touched on it, but maybe I just missed it. So for the sororities and fraternities that didn't have their rush dates posted, how can we expect to find that information? Is it by contacting you or on your social media page? Like, how are we going to go about finding?
I can speak on Delta Sigma Theta. If you're following our Instagram page, that's where we'll mainstream the information. You should check it, I would say, tomorrow through Wednesday. We'll have some information on there for you.
And then for Zeta, it's the same thing. If you follow us on our Instagram page or if you sign up on our mailing list, we'll make sure that you'll get the information for our informational.
As far as Alpha Kappa Alpha, you can email us or ask me directly. We don't post our rush flyer, but and if you receive the flyer as well and you know someone that's interested, please send it to them as well.
So for us, we aren't doing any rush for this fall, but for the spring coming up, we will. Just if anyone is interested in it. But the point of contact is we have Milan, but also I'm here a lot of the times, and there are other people that are around. So you can definitely reach out to one of us, and then also email as well. So it's point of contacts.
Yeah, I'd like also mention a lot of times we do post through social media, as well as I believe for most organizations that we do as well utilize resources. So in terms of the block, we also post our information, usually send that to them so they could also include that in their newsletter that comes out, whether it be flyer or the virtual newsletter online. We will also, like I said, social media will be having more upcoming events. That's another way to stay updated in terms of one of the best modes of communication with some of the collegiate students.
For Alpha Phi Alpha, just reach out to me. My name is Alex, once again, Brother Alex, but also reach out to Brother Daryl Tate. And then you can also contact him through his email as well.
Yeah, same goes for Omega Psi Phi. Just reach out to myself or the email that was posted into the PowerPoint. Is that getting shared? Or
Yes. So
Okay.
if you're a current student and you signed in with the QR code at the front, we will email everyone after this with all that contact info, all of the slides in PDF format, because it's a lot to keep track of. So we'll definitely share that. And just a plug for our area student involvement, we should also know on a semesterly basis who's recruiting and who's not. We're located across from the Jamba Juice here in the Student Union. Somehow that's how everybody knows where to find us. So that's where you can drop by. We're normally open 9 to 6 Monday through Thursday, 9 to 5 Monday through or on Fridays.
And they're right next to the block. So if you're not getting the block
Exactly.
newsletter, if you have not gotten a newsletter, I think we've sent one out so far this academic year, you need to reach out to them because these organizations work directly with them to get things sent directly to the block students. So if you have not gotten anything from the block this semester, you need to follow up with that staff to figure out why you're on the listserv.
And also pay attention in the block. Obviously, there are flyers posted everywhere in the block and the student involvement. So I know for IOTAs, I got mine posted right there, and I brought it up last week. So you'll see them posted. You can take a flyer or hold a flyer, hand out a flyer.
In worst case scenario, if you go to church or if you have someone that you know, just have a conversation with that person. We pretty much all share information directly or indirectly, whether it's formal meetings or informal conversations. So if you're showing up year-round and you just are having trouble just connecting, just talk to one person. That information will get shared down the line.
Such great questions. Got one more in the front.
Just wanted to add one more thing too. Also, on our graduate level, we also work together. So there's actually an NPHC, Silicon Valley NPHC. I'm the president of it. And so that's when we all get together on the graduate level, to assist each other organizations, but also to do community service. So we do a lot of partnership with the African American Community Service Agency. And so we've done like the book bag drive that we just did when school started in August. And then in Christmas, we do a toy giveaway also. So you should look at those things if you're not getting anything from the African American Community Service Agency. They have a lot of resources, as well as they're the ones that we partner with to do a lot of community service for our community.
And I just wanted to comment on the question regarding why you may not see us as much. And the main reason is because we're small. People already spoke to that, right? A lot of the chapters may have 5, 7 members. So our chapters tend to be very small here at San Jose State, at least nowadays, right? Back in the day, they were quite a bit larger, but nowadays they're pretty small. So that's the number one reason. And we have to spread the wealth, right? 'Cause all the work that we have to do, right, is done by all of these wonderful folks, right? So if you have 5, 7 people doing everything, you have to be strategic on where you show up. And then the other thing I wanted to share too, at least for AKA, when our undergrads have events, one of the members from the graduate chapter has to be in attendance as well. So we have to coordinate those schedules.
Wonderful. Any other questions or thoughts from the audience? This is incredible. Where was it? Sorry.
If trying to join, do you need any community service hours?
Not community service hours necessarily, but I'm pretty sure that the organizations here, including Alpha Phi Alpha, will have plenty of community service opportunities, and it would definitely be a good look to join us at those events. So, yeah.
Speaking on behalf of Delta Sigma Theta, get active in the community. It looks really good.
Awesome. Any other questions? Sure.
My name is Angela Ward, and I'm a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
One of the things or the questions that I heard or comments was it's a lifelong commitment. But I also want to say it comes with lifelong benefits. And I think that's the one thing that we also have to emphasize. One, the sisterhood. I love being among my sisters here, and then of course my Sans is sitting up on the stage. But I'm also a member of, active member of a graduate chapter in Maryland. And I came out here to work for a year, and immediately I knew to reach out to my sisterhood. And they've been able to provide for me not only those opportunities for community service, but a church home and things to do on the weekend, and someone to actually call when I need support. And that's been something that I've been able to enjoy my entire Zeta Phi Beta life. The other thing that was just really remarkable today, and it's so good to see one of my brothers from Phi Beta Sigma fraternity here today. But I just left a meeting, and again, we were just talking about the opportunity for networking, etc., in which another company that actually is coming in to do an assessment of my company, a Fortune 100 company, and we were scared to death on whether or not we were going to pass. One of the auditors was a member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. So we started off on a really good path from day one, right? From right out the start. And again, you just never know who you may run into, where you might be, what you might need. When you come across somebody else, what they may need that you can provide. And I'm just so thankful not only for my sorority and my fraternity, but also being a part of D9 and being able to experience all of that.
I just want to build off that too. So not only is that connection and networking just with Alpha, but I've also been able to connect with all of the rest of the fraternities, sororities, excuse me, in various ways, like after college, professionally. So the lifelong commitment and benefits, it's not just within your fraternity or sorority, but it's along throughout the entire NPHC. Because I can run into a Kappa, I can run into an Omega, I can run into an AKA or a Delta in my professional field, and that'll be a connection right there that we can build off of and build a relationship from there, and it can be fruitful from there. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
This is just for the panel. Could you speak to your collegiate experience? I think it's more attuned to, the collegiates here. Just, each organization, maybe speak to what your collegiate experience was from a leadership role and then also maybe from a social role as well.
Since my profile was the one who brought up the question, I gotta make sure I answer correct. Like I mentioned before, I came here as a freshman, 2015. I came into my organization in spring 2016. And for myself, being, as I said, when I first came through this organization, I I'm not the same individual I was back then. I was very quiet, introverted, did not want to step out to many activities. And joining my organization, it throws you into that. But what also does that, it could be very nervous. It could be it could be a lot at one point. But it's going to help you grow. I saw a funny thing when they talk about, do you have to learn how to step, stroll? No, but I would encourage you to challenge yourself, to really try to come out your comfort zone. And that's really what a lot of this organization is going to do, is have you come out your comfort zone and grow and develop. And for myself, when I first came in as a first year, it's been a transformative experience. Me not being doing leadership roles, I came in, I became president of my fraternity when I was here. I became president of the NPHC when I was here. I was also a member of BASE when I was here. Those are things I wouldn't be able to do when I first came through on this campus. It wouldn't match unless I had Sigma. I still tell people to this day, the best day of my collegiate life is when I had my probate, or as people may recognize as a new member presentation. That was one of the greatest memories I could have as a collegiate, and that stays with me. Some of my closest people is my fraternity brothers, but also people from other Greek organizations that I'm very close to. Very close to brothers from Iota Phi Theta, Alpha Phi Alpha. So it really does help you grow a lot, grow your network. So when I could say it's one of the best decisions you can make, you're very uncertain, you're not sure what it's going to look like, I could tell you we're here today because it was one of the best decisions we made in our life.
And just to kind of go back on what he was talking about, for me, one of the biggest quotes that I like is being comfortable with being uncomfortable. So these roles and positions that you kind of get in when you're in an organization is that you're managing a lot. And depending on whatever you're at, it could be more or less. But at the end of the day, the uncomfortability is allowing you to grow. So when I look at things, I look at how will I be able to grow? Well, some of these things is being in situations where I probably wouldn't be in the beginning and trying new things out, even though it's a discomfort, still putting myself out there and seeing what can I do, and then from there figuring out what can be done to be better. So just taking away with how you can learn and grow in this organization, in each of these organizations, helps a lot. And from where we all come from, I mean, the population of the black student is increasing now, but there's still a small increase than what you see in a normal classroom from you guys. I know when I was in the classroom, I was probably the only one, and it kind of shocked me. And I didn't know how to really react to that. But with that being said, just putting yourself out in these situations can allow you to grow, and this is kind of like the space for you to do so.
I just wanted to add on the collegiate experience. I know I'm older, but I did have a collegiate experience. There was a group called WIZ, which was Women Interested in Zeta. We don't have it anymore, but as a freshman, I became a part of that, and they took me and about 10 of us to a step show, and we were able to sit within the Zeta section with the brothers at that time, and so of course that just kind of blew my mind, so I was just like, yeah, I want to be a part of it. But when I became a Zeta, I think the most enjoyable collegiate experience was that, as I said, I went to UCLA, and I went to Alabama for a family reunion. And while I was there, I went to Alabama A&M to visit the campus. And a person that I knew there was a guy, so I was going there. I didn't know in HBCUs that they had separate size for guys and separate size for girls. So of course, I'm a collegiate. I don't have any money for a hotel, so I have no place to stay. So I told him, I said, you invited us up here. It was me and another soror. I said, you invited us up here, and we're here, and now we don't have no place to stay. So I'm confused on why you gave us the invite. And he was like, no, I got you. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? And he was like, there's some Zetas on the yard. I was like, oh, okay. So we go over to where he says the Zetas are, knock on the door. I don't know the girl at all, but I know she's a Zeta. And I'm looking at her, and I say, hey, I'm from California. I need a place to stay. Can I stay with you? And she was like, yes, sir, you can stay with me. And so I said, oh, okay. And so that time, met her first time. The only thing we got in common is letters. We was hanging out the whole entire weekend. They treated us everywhere. You know, frat was good too. And I was just like, not knowing anybody, going clear across the country by a knock on the door just because we wear the same letters. now we're friends for life, and that's all it took. And so that's what it's talking about. It's that connection. You can go anywhere in the world and meet up with somebody. Sometimes it won't even be in your organization. It could just be another D9 person that will help you out. So when you talk about the benefits, I've had the benefits of traveling. I've never traveled so much in my entire life since I became a Zeta. I mean, I was just in Africa and Ghana doing community service. I would have never got that opportunity if I didn't join the organization. So there's plenty of benefits with it, but you got to put in the work too.
Yeah, I'm good. They said it all.
Yeah, I was gonna say if there's maybe one more thought from the panel, or if not, you know, to make sure folks from the audience have some time to share or to connect with, you know, individual chapters.
Homecoming is coming up, and we got a big thing going on the 20th of October. Step show. We bring the step show back. It's been off the campus for a long time. We got tailgating that Saturday. So come on out, go to the block. Student involvement. Look for the flyers coming out. Tickets go on sale.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah.
They got flyers for me?
So much good advice and wisdom, not only up here on the panel, but with everyone that came out to support tonight. So thank you so much. And I'm hearing, you know, maybe we extend this next time to what, 10, 11?
Got a DJ?
No, it's good? Okay. Sorry, I just had to throw a little joke in there. Oh, true. You're right. All right. Well, I'm going to do like maybe 5 more minutes of boring talking and kind of sharing some info. And then I want to make sure folks have the opportunity to mingle and ask questions of anyone on the stage or anyone that came out to support tonight. So just some conclusion, like themes. You know, we write this before we know the discussion that's going to go on. And we hit so much on all of these things. Fraternity sorority life being a lifetime commitment, and especially NPHC. I think you can see that with the representation on our panel and who's come out to support even after their undergraduate experience. Time and again, we heard folks saying, do your research, you know, go out to events, learn more about the people that are affiliated, because it's not just the organization that you're joining, it's the people that you're joining, right? And so that's really important that you gravitated to like-minded folks that you can gel with. And just by joining one chapter, you're really joining the whole community. Hopefully I summed up that in like 2 minutes. A lot of what we talked about, which was all incredible things. A couple other things on here. These are just kind of like questions to ask yourself. If you're going on this journey to figure out what you want to be involved in or what you're passionate about, what causes and values are most important to me. What are you hoping to get most out of your experience, right? Is it the social component? Are you really career focused? Are you looking for folks that can support you academically? Maybe there are organizations that, you know, fit into that mold in various ways. Can I see myself participating in the activities that the organization currently hosts, right? So we were saying getting out of your shell and trying new things. It's okay to try new things and also, not like them. That's not my thing. Or maybe you try a new thing. It's like, oh, this was awesome. I'm so glad I encouraged myself to do this. You don't know until you try. And then why do I want to join? And is right now the right time? If you're a first-time freshman, maybe that time is now, and everything is lining up right in your life where I'm able to make this commitment for this lifelong commitment because of everything else going on, right? Maybe right now you have 2, 3, 4 jobs. Does that meet anyone in the audience? I know it was me as a college student. That might be a little tougher, right? It's funny because a lot of the times folks might think I come up on the stage and I say, get involved in everything, right? Do this, do that, do the other thing. Like, no, make these decisions when it makes the most sense for you as an individual. Because first and foremost, you're here to, succeed academically and then move on from your institution. And hopefully opportunities like NPHC fall into that when the time is right for you. So hopefully nobody throws anything at me by me saying that, but it's the truth, like it or not. And then a little bit more, I think a few folks mentioned the Black Leadership and Opportunity Center, also known as the Block. They are our neighbors to student involvement. Typically, we do have Emerald Green, the program director of the Block, with us. She wasn't able to make it this evening, missing her dearly. But here's some information here about a variety of the resources that they offer in the Block. Whenever I walk by, it is popping in there. There are so many folks in there. It is super, super exciting this fall semester to see everything that is going on. They're open during typical office hours as well. And also sometimes later than that. I was here at like 10 o'clock the other night and I was like, what is going on in there? So there's always like a club or something going on in there. So highly encourage you to stop by if you haven't previously. And just reiterating some resources from student involvement. I talked a little bit about our recognized student organizations earlier. There's 350 of them. So there's likely something out there that you can find that community in one of those clubs as well. You can also start your own club if you don't see something at San Jose State that you're passionate about. We have a variety of leadership programs. A lot of folks up here talked about leadership development skills and opportunities. We have a career conference next month, actually, where we bring alumni, industry, employers, and things like that. We partner with a career center to bring those opportunities to campus and hopefully practice skills like networking and things of that nature. We have an online leadership and career certificate program in the spring where you can kind of learn at your own pace some of these ideas and skills that you might be thinking of, but you're not quite sure how to practice them. And also campus programs. Somebody mentioned homecoming, so that is coming up right around the corner. I'm helping to plan some of the festivities for the week, so that will be exciting. As well as our weeks of welcome. So you may have seen a lot of advertising around campus that it might say WOW as well. The first 4 to 6 weeks of the semester, there's something like 150 different events that happen at San Jose State. Both in the fall and the spring. So there's always something to do. And I think I'll leave that there. And, we had some folks talking about either doing intake or not doing intake this semester. So these are some just things to think about. If you learn a little bit more about an organization, you're really interested and you find out they're actually not doing intake for the fall. These are some ways that you can be prepared. Keeping your grades up, that will always be important. Exploring some of the other organization opportunities. We were talking about community service earlier, and if that is required, it sounds like it's strongly encouraged or it's not a bad thing to explore. And just getting to know folks, right? Coming out to these events and making yourself seen and present, asking questions and showing that interest. It goes a long way. So there's a little bit on that. And that's where we're going to leave that for this evening. Again, my contact information is up there. I also have business cards if anyone would like to connect with me after. And I highly encourage anyone in the audience that wants to learn more about an organization at this time. We can kind of just open it up for mingling and everything like that. So thank you so much for being with us this evening and have a good rest of your night and hopefully make some good connections. And thank you to everyone on the panel. Can we get another round of applause for everyone on the panel volunteering their time?